I think the biggest part for me was, you sort of did the scatter approach when you went in before, right? Like you're trying to cover all the bases. What we did was narrow it down. And I think it makes it easier, especially for young teachers, because really you could work on everything, but this allows them to work on one thing. When I first come to this job, one of the problems I had in my first year, because there was so much discipline within kids, is just not getting into the room and actually working with teachers. And then moving into your second year and your third year, and doing the walkthrough was just a good reminder of that's where you need to be in order to have impact in your school.
What was the story that you told yourself when you first came about why the teachers were happy or were staying where they were?
I think sometimes when you have been doing the same thing for multiple years, it becomes easier to build in excuses, different things. And it was different, I guess, coming from my previous school, because we had already been on a 4 or 5 year journey where all of a sudden you come to a new school and you start looking at things that are, were successful in your previous school, and the excuses that are being given as to why you're not doing it doesn't really make sense. It's taking the data that you have and taking a real look and having a purpose that it's going to be something that you're going to do and work towards. And I mean, we have attendance is a big issue, right? We have, sometimes we get kids that show up in grade 2 or 3 and they've hardly attended school, and those are those are difficult things to deal with. But we also deal with what's presented in front of us, and when those kids come in, we have a plan, and we move forward with it and do the best that we can. Because sometimes those kids might only be here for 6 months, but can we impact them in those 6 months when we have them?
Right. So, what has been the biggest change in either your instructional leadership or in your staff in the time that you've been there, from when you first came to now? What's the change, maybe even in both stories, in your instructional leadership and in your teachers?
Well, I would think, like, as far as instructional leadership, again, in doing some of the walkthroughs, I found that the process that we went through helped to narrow our focus, so that when I'm dealing with a teacher, we're just focusing on what is it. So it could be transitioning students in the morning to get them to work, or transition them from reading to writing. So we're narrowing down the focus of what it is that we're working on. So I think that's really helped me, so that I'm, helping teachers out. I can be more specific in what I'm doing there. I would say, again, with the teachers, probably the biggest thing that we've done is just taking a look, and our decisions are made based off of data. What do we see? What is happening with students? Are we seeing improvement? If we don't see improvement, how are we changing? We have a plan for every student. That wasn't there in even my first year. Moving into the second year, now every kid that comes in, as far as reading goes, we have them set up, and we have a plan, and so we do our best to execute that plan. And so I think right there is huge growth.